What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have a new arrival time for potential executive orders for stimulus. This just coming out. Now, in addition to that, stimulus checks, executive orders, we're going to be covering all the details of what we might see and what has happened in the past. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, first up, take a look, you guys. Biden is reportedly delaying his broad student loan forgiveness announcement until late summer, closer to when debt payments are set to resume. I'm going to give you the exact time that we're hearing that executive orders and actions for stimulus provisions will likely start hitting. And we're hearing that this is getting delayed because this is going to be like their last resort before elections if they can't pass through legislation, which we're hearing is stalling. They can't pass it through the traditional means. They're having trouble with reconciliation. So executive orders and actions by the president stepping up on his own and doing it might be the only way. And take a look, we're also hearing student loan forgiveness, 5 key issues that are currently preventing a final decision. I'm going to give you all the details on this, but you guys, a lot of people are saying, we just need executive orders for stimulus checks on a federal level. Send it out to everybody. Help them out at this time as we have record high food prices, gas prices, 40-year high inflation. And this is not the first time it's been suggested, and there has been a theory that it could be done. As take a look, take a trip with me down memory lane 2 years ago. Former President Donald Trump floated using an extra $300 billion in pandemic relief aid for a second stimulus check. That's right. From those stimulus packages that were first passed, there was leftover funds just sitting there, and he said there was a theory that through executive orders, he could issue new checks if Congress did not get on board. But as you'll recall, they did get on board. But take a look at this, just a reminder for executive orders by the president. President Trump called on Congress to approve a fresh round of $1,200 stimulus checks for American families by reallocating $300 billion in unused pandemic relief funds. We have $300 billion in an account that we did not use. I would like and be willing to release it, subject to Congress, and use that as stimulus money, and it would go right to the American people, he said from the White House. Now, although Trump said that he considered redirecting the funds unilaterally, he was told he needed Congress to approve it. Trump did not specify where the funding source would be from, but that he may be referring to unused business loan money approved by lawmakers at the end of March in the $2.2 trillion CARES Act. Now, under the stimulus package, Congress appropriated $500 billion to the Treasury, with $454 billion intended to cover losses of Federal Reserve lending programs. So far, $259 billion of that funding remains uncommitted. So just sitting there, unused funds, which is exactly what we currently have in this current time. It's money that we have, money that was built up and money that we haven't spent. And I would love to give it to the American people as a very powerful stimulus, Trump said. He continued, I think there is a theory that I could do it without having to go back, but I think it would be appropriate to go back, and I would ask Congress to approve it. It's a very simple approval. It's one sentence approval, and the Democrats should do that. The Republicans will do that. They would be glad to do that. The first $1,200 cash payment to the U.S. households cost about $300 billion, according to one estimate from Economic Policy Institute. And back then, they wanted to issue a second $1,200 check of about $300 billion, and he was saying he wanted Congress to do it, but if they didn't, there was a theory that he could reallocate those existing funds and then send it out through executive order. Now, they did not have to go that route because Congress did get on board, but there was a theory that it could be done, and we actually saw him do that with FEMA existing funds for unemployment. Now, could he do it for stimulus checks? Well, we had heard that it was very likely, and you guys, a lot of people are saying, why doesn't Biden do that? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what they're saying about executive orders coming. I'll give you the arrival time. And also, speaking of former President Donald Trump, we've got an announcement for you coming very likely here soon. The latest on the rumor mill of him running in 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed on everything going on, don't forget to take a quick moment to smash that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Share this out if you think it could help out other people. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not come join the Ram fam? All you got to do is smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. And before we get to the arrival time of executive orders, let's take a look at the announcement of 2024, former President Donald Trump running for the Republican Party. Let's take a look.
And the rumor mill over whether former President Donald Trump will launch a new bid for the White House is hitting overdrive because Trump insiders say that a decision could come as soon as this summer. Advisors say he is growing bored with being just a Republican kingmaker and is itching to get back into the political arena as a candidate. But his close circle is divided on whether he should launch his campaign now or whether he should wait. NBC News senior national politics reporter John Allen joins us now. John, what are you hearing sort of about the former president actually launching a bid soon? Is that likely?
Likely is it's always questionable in the Trump world because nothing happens until he actually makes a decision. What I am hearing from advisors, both one of them on the record, Jason Miller, who said that he is urging former President Trump to get in before the midterms, maybe as early as this summer. And also I heard from somebody who asked to remain anonymous, who's a close advisor to former President Trump, who said that even though they are advising him to wait until after the midterms, they believe he is likely to go sooner rather than later.
And John, I mean, what's then the argument from his advisors against him announcing, as you mentioned, sooner? I mean, why should he delay it, according to them?
I mean, there are a whole host of reasons. Number one, the Republicans are trying to win the midterm elections right now, and it's possible that he could interfere with that, suck up some of the oxygen from candidates there, distract from those candidates. Other reasons are the idea that he, as the former president and the dominant force in the party, can wait as long as he wants to. And if he gets in early, what he does is creates a whole regulatory thicket for himself in terms of what he can raise for a campaign committee versus what he's got going now, a super PAC. All of that's pretty technical, but that's one of the reasons that you see candidates wait. And of course, he'd have to build up staff and pay those staff with those hard money donations. So there are a lot of reasons to wait, and traditionally candidates don't get in until at least after the midterms.
All right, NBC's John Allen joining us live from D.C. John, as always, thanks, my man.
So there you have it. Former President Donald Trump coming back. He said he's very likely going to be making an announcement here before the midterm elections. Let me know your thoughts. And I've actually heard recently that it might be the 4th of July. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date here on the channel. Now, in addition to that, the current president, Joe Biden, we are hearing that he's going to be issuing executive orders and actions here very soon. Link in the description below to this article that says Biden is reportedly delaying his broad student loan forgiveness announcement until late summer. And this, we had heard, would be the first of many stimulus provisions to come through executive order. Now, the article says that President Biden told federal student loan borrowers in April that they would be hearing about relief in the next couple weeks. And that's when we had reported that this was going to be coming soon. But his timeline for that announcement appears to be pushed back. Now, on Monday, yesterday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Biden is likely to announce broad student loan forgiveness in July or August. So they're saying in the next month or two now, they're going to be issuing executive orders and actions on this. Now, if they do that, we're hearing it's going to be getting it closer and closer, as we've mentioned, to midterm elections. That is likely when we're going to be seeing all of these provisions begin to light up, and we're going to start seeing if they're going to be passing this or doing executive orders and actions. Closer to when student loan payments are set to resume on September 1st, according to the administration's officials familiar with the matter. Now, while the president previously said a decision would be made sooner, the Journal reported that Biden is continuing to assess the economics and political impacts of a broad student loan relief, an issue that is becoming increasingly divisive among Democrats and Republicans. And the administration is continuing to assess options for cancellation, and no decisions have been made at this time, according to the White House. Now, in addition to that, let's take a look at some of the reasons why they're saying that this is going to be getting delayed. Here, link in the description below, 5 key issues preventing a final decision. Now, number 1, the amount of student loan forgiveness, $10,000 or $50,000. Now, President Joe Biden has said that he supports wiping out $10,000 of student loan debt. He actually ran his campaign on that when he was running for president. However, we've heard progressives say that that's not good enough. Wipe it out for everybody, or at least wipe out $50,000 for borrowers. Now, let me know your thoughts. Now, in addition to that, a lot of people are saying, why is this even the primary provision that the president is supporting at this time when there's so many other things that could help out so many more people, as we heard from Kevin O'Leary previously. And they said, do stimulus checks, child tax credits. What about unemployment benefits federally for all those that have lost their jobs? What about all of these other provisions? But he's choosing to start with student loans. Now, also, who qualifies for student loan forgiveness and income limits. They have not yet set that up as well either. And also legal authority to enact wide-scale student loan cancellation. They're saying there is some gray area as to whether or not this is legal, but overall we have heard that he can do this. And also, as we mentioned earlier, former President Donald Trump did reallocate funds that were previously set aside, and he did it for the LWA unemployment program. And we had heard that it could be possible for checks as well. Also, political implications of the student loan forgiveness. Now, the midterm elections in November 8th is the biggest election of Biden's presidency. Why? Because the outcome will directly impact Biden's legislative agenda for the remaining 2 years of his term. If Republicans take over, it's going to be very hard for him to pass anything, and he's already having a difficult time now as Democrats are currently in full control. Student loan forgiveness could be a major issue for some voters, particularly for student loan borrowers. So they're saying if he can do this, he could potentially get them on board. And also the economic impact of student loan forgiveness. While supporters of student loan forgiveness say that it would stimulate the economy, Republicans in Congress say it will increase inflation. And right now, our economic situation, high prices, and inflation is the number one concern of the American people. So as I mentioned to you before, there's a lot of strategists in politics and the economy that are saying this might not be the best solution. This might not be the hill he wants to fight for when there are so many other things that could really resonate with the American people and get so much more approval, like stimulus checks. So there you have it, you guys. We're hearing the new arrival time of executive orders for stimulus provisions is likely going to be sometime around July, August. And by that time as well, we'll probably have heard a whole lot about the reconciliation bill, the revised Build Back Better bill. And chances are, if there's not been progress on that by then, well, they're probably going to start busting out executive orders and actions to start convincing voters before they hit the polls to vote in favor of those currently in power, which is the Democrats. And we will see you guys. I will keep you up to date here on the channel, and we will see what unfolds with checks, all these provisions on a federal level, and also I will continue to keep you up to date on state, county, and city levels as we're hearing that new programs and new checks are being passed every single day. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me once again, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.